provide the solution.
Yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome to the audience. And welcome to our webinar about localization for Germany from Alta Via, and especially with a focus today on the Kontenblatt, which we have been working a lot on lately. I would like to introduce my colleagues who joined this webinar. You see Peter von Zimmermann, Managing Director of Alta Via Consulting, and inspirator of the solution. And you see Selma Tekaya, our main developer for the solution. We hope that we have a good team now to present the solution and answer any possible questions afterwards. So let's look at today's agenda. Share presentation. Here we go. So what we'll be looking at today, after a welcome and short introduction of Alta Via, Peter von Zimmermann will give us an introduction of the solution and highlight our focus and why we built it. After that, we will see the presentation from Selma, showing the application in every detail. And afterwards, we will have a QA session. If you have any questions during the webinar, please note them into the chat. I will copy them and read them to the audience, and then we have our subject matter experts answer them as good as possible. Now, about Alta Via Consulting, just a brief introduction to anybody who may not know us already. Alta Via is a solution provider with NetSuite and SDN partners since 2009. Commonly, we would introduce ourselves as a full-stack consulting company, which means that not only you can buy NetSuite licenses through us, we also help you with the project planning and project conduct. We do the implementation project with you, run spot consulting and individual solutions and customizations with our customers, and also employ quite a few developers. For example, Selma is one of them. Not the least, we produce our own products, one of which is the localization for Germany, which we want to present today to you. I'd like to hand over to Peter now and move forward with the product.
Yes, so we are looking at one of the ingredients from the Localization Germany product, a special one, which is the Kontenblatt. So what is the Kontenblatt? This German word, I think it's probably inherited out of times when bookkeeping was really done in books, like you see it in this little picture above. So it was just one page in a book, was called Kontenblatt, and even that in Germany today, nobody really does bookkeeping in books anymore. So the term Kontenblatt is very used, and the tool is very much used and loved by German accountants to better understand the accounting. What is the Kontenblatt is basically chronological ordered postings to one account, this one specific account for a specific defined accounting period. So there is something similar in NetSuite, which is called account register, but we found out that this is not really fulfilling all the requirements which we have for a Kontenblatt. So please, Georg, if you switch with the word requirement to the next slide, we are talking about the special requirements which we have for the Kontenblatt, and we will see if how our solution can cover this requirement. So the first, of course, we would like to show all postings to the one account with the Contra account. That's why it's sometimes called Contra account sheet. Of course, we have to see the balances, the opening and closing balances, debit and credit. We should see some information about some transactions, posting these lines and whatever the entities, the customers and vendors. Of course, we want to see amounts on the line. Basically, if it's in foreign currency, transaction currency, also in currency, there might be a text topic to be shown, and there might also be some additional segmentations like a cost center detail, which we would like to see. This is all to be shown in this account, this Kontenblatt. Obviously, a lot of fields. So what is necessary to get is that we have a flexibility and adaptability to that you pick the right columns you need for your purpose. So flexibility and adaptability is a very important requirement. Especially, we want to have different views for different account types and different transaction types. So for example, if you have an accounts receivable accounts, it might be relevant to see the currency, the tax, and so on. If you have an inventory change, obviously tax and currency is not relevant, but you might want to see location to which we post this inventory change. Or, for example, you have an expense account, you might want to have the split by cost center. So you have different views for different account types as a special requirement. Of course, the whole tool has to be easy to access from everywhere in the system so that with the fingertip you are at the necessary Kontenblatt for the account you want to see. Then obviously there are some accounts where you might have a lot of postings going to because it's one of the central accounts. So you have to handle this that you might have really thousands of lines to show. Of course, this has to be covered by the tool. And at the end, you probably want also to export the data to work on Excel or to print it out for archiving. So these are my requirements. And now I give it to Selma to show us a tool, and then we will see how far these requirements are covered by our tool.
Thank you. So let me start the presentation.
Today, we are introducing the Kontenblatt, also known as the Contra account sheet. It's a key component of the AV Localization Germany Bundle, designed to enhance transparency and accuracy in financial tracking for German accounting standards. Now, let's dive into how this tool works and the steps required to get it running effectively. The first step to get our Kontenblatt tool working smoothly involves setting up some mandatory parameters. To do this, we will start from the overview page. We navigate there through the Setup Center, then into Custom, and then we click on AV Localization Germany. Here, as you can see, we have a list of all components within the AV Localization Germany bundle. For the account details feature to be accessible, it must be in install status. Now, to configure the tool and its necessary parameters, we will click on the Configure button. After clicking Configure, we are directed to a page divided into two main sections, the Global Configuration and the Subsidiary Configuration. In the Global Configuration section, we can adjust settings for all components installed in our account. Focusing on Kontenblatt, there are three essential fields to be aware of. First, there is the Account Details Report folder where all generated reports are stored. Users need to create this folder and input its internal ID here, which I have already completed. Next is the number of transactions shown per page in the Account Details Report, allowing us to control how much data is displayed at once. I will set this to 10. And lastly, we have the Export Type Threshold field that indicates whether the report will be opened directly in a new window or will be sent via an email containing the document link. If the report exceeds 3 pages, for example, an email notification will be triggered. Let's set this up now and click on Save Configuration button in order to save the changes. Now, moving on to the subsidiary configuration section, this is where we enable components for specific subsidiaries. As we can see, for each component, we have the option to select as many subsidiaries as we need. By checking the boxes next to the subsidiaries, we activate the account details feature only for those selected. This means the Kontenblatt functionality will only be operational for the subsidiaries we have checked, ensuring a customized setup that meets our specific needs. Now, Let's circle back to the global configuration section and dive deeper into the specifics of Kontenblatt. Within this section, there is a drop-down menu called Related Records. Clicking on it reveals a link titled Account Sheet View. Selecting this link takes us to the AV7 Account Details Configuration list, a space where we can view, edit, and add AV7 Account Details Configuration records. These custom records are crucial for determining how the account details report is displayed. The list comes pre-configured, ready to use for specific account and transaction types, providing a straightforward starting point. However, it's important to note that users can customize these settings to better align with their unique requirements. Let's click on View for one of these records to show the structure and the fields. As we look at the configuration record, the first thing we notice is the name, which identifies this particular setting. Following that, we have a selection of columns that will be displayed in the report through the field columns to show. In addition to that, there are 3 checkboxes for further customizations. Show a fixed amount. This allows the user to decide whether to include foreign exchange, debit and credit amounts and exchange rates in the report. Show negative opening balance. This option can be turned on for accounts with a credit balance to show a negative opening balance. And finally, show tax lines, giving the user the choice to display tax lines in the account details report. Another key field is columns to print, which lets the user select specific columns for inclusion in exported reports, offering flexibility in case they prefer not to show the same columns as in the on-screen view. And lastly, we have default account type and default transaction type fields, which are preset but can be adjusted based on the user's requirement, ensuring that the report is fully customized to meet their needs. Now, I will edit this record to check these 2 checkboxes, and I will click on Save to ensure all changes are securely stored and applied to our report configuration. After covering all the necessary steps and information you need to know, we are now ready to demonstrate how this feature operates in practice. Let's begin by presenting the main navigation path to access the account details entry page, setting the stage for exploring the functionality of our Kontenblatt feature in action. Now, let's navigate to the account details entry page. We do this by going through the report center, selecting Financial, and then we click on Account Details Entry. This action brings up a page where we are required to fill in some mandatory fields such as subsidiary and account name along with a date range. Optionally, users can also select or specify an entity name such as customer, vendor, employee, and choose a transaction type to further refine their search. For our demonstration, I will fill in the mandatory fields and select Germany as subsidiary, and I will pick an account receivable account. And then I will click on Submit button to proceed. After clicking the Submit button, we are taken to the main page of the Account Details report. At the top, the account name is displayed as the title, highlighting the focus for our analysis. Our page is divided into sections for ease of navigation and understanding. The primary information section. Here, we find essential details like the account name, subsidiary, and currency, laying the groundwork for what's to come in the report. The filters section. This area allows the user to adjust the date range to review transactions from previous periods, specify a transaction type or specify an entity name, and of course, as you can see, our configuration value is automatically set as the default for this account type, streamlining the process. After this, we have the balance section. In this section, the report provides balance calculations specific to the chosen date range, including opening and closing balances along with total debit and credit amounts. This gives a clear financial snapshot for the period in question. And finally, the most important section is the report section, and the structure of the report is based on paging mechanism. For instance, in this example, with our parameter number of transactions to be shown as 10 and the total of number of transactions is 20, so as you can see, our report contains 2 pages. Each page in the list drop-down includes a corresponding date range, offering clarity and context. Navigation between pages is facilitated by the Next Page button and the Previous Page button. And taking a closer look at the report, we observe transaction lines with various pieces of information, all arranged according to the columns we set up in the configuration record. This organized presentation ensures that every transaction is clear, detailed, and accessible for review. In addition to viewing the report on screen, we have several functionalities at our disposal for exporting data. The page includes buttons for exporting the report in both PDF and CSV formats, providing flexibility depending on your needs or preferences. Users have the option to export the information per page or to export the entire report at once, as you can see. Given that our export type threshold parameter is set to 3, so when we choose to export the entire report in PDF formats and when we click on the button Export Account Details to PDF, for example, the document will open in a new window in PDF format. This allows for immediate viewing without additional steps. And as you can see, the report structure contains all relevant informations, transaction lines and columns as defined by the columns to print setting in the configuration record. Also, in case we want to export the page in CSV format and we click on this button, for example, the file will be downloaded automatically. When opening the CSV file, we will observe 10 transactions, each detailed with various pieces of information reflecting what we have already viewed on a single page. Now, I will adjust the date range to start on January 1st of the last year. And I will click on the Submit button. You will notice that we have now a total of 64 transactions spread across 7 pages, which exceeds our export type threshold parameter. In this case, exporting the entire report when clicking on this button triggers an email notification, and after clicking the button, a pop-up message titled Processing Print Request appears, informing the user that their request is being processed. After a brief wait, the user receives an email with the subject, "Your report is ready." This email includes a link to the PDF document stored within the Account Details Report folder. Clicking on this link directs us to the file record. From there, we can access the PDF file, which opens in a new window showcasing our complete report. This document contains all transaction lines, complete with columns and pertinent information, offering a comprehensive view of our account's activity over the selected period. And let's not forget to mention the navigation flexibility that Kontenblatt offers. For example, from this page, we can easily navigate to our transaction records by clicking on the document number link for this invoice, for example. Also, if we want to explore the account details of other accounts, we can just click on the account names, as you can see now, and we will see their report open. In addition to that, in case we wish to initiate a new search, we can click on Back to Account Details entry, and we will have our account details entry page. This level of navigational ease enhances user experience, allowing for quick access and efficient management of financial information. For our second navigation option to the account details report, we will explore accessing it from an entity record, taking a customer record as an example. You will notice a button, Account Details. Clicking this guides us to the account detail report specific for this customer. At the top, the title displays the entity name, maintaining our focus on the customer's transaction. The primary information, similar to what we have seen before, is presented up front. In the filter section, you will observe that the entity filters are disabled and automatically set to the customer name, streamlining the report to show transactions and balance calculations directly tied to the specific entity. In addition to viewing the report on screen, we also have the capability to export our report into PDF or CSV document. When exported to PDF, for example, the entity name will be displayed at the top, ensuring that the context of the report is clear. In addition to that, navigation back to the customer record from the account details report is straightforward. By clicking on the Back to Entity button, users can easily return to the original entity record. And lastly, another way to access the account details feature is directly from a transaction record. Let's look to an invoice record as an example. Here, you will notice a button called GL Lines with Contra account. Clicking on this button redirects the user to an account details report specific for this transaction. In this view, there is an information section displaying details such as subsidiary, the document number of this invoice, the currency, and the entity related to it. In addition to that, the configuration record set up automatically for the transaction type by default is shown. Below this information, you can see the report with lines reflecting the GL impact with various columns selected within the configuration record. This page also offers additional navigation possibilities to offer a deeper dive into related financial data. By clicking on the account or entity names, users can easily jump to their respective account details, as you can see. Also, for a quick access back to initial transaction record, there is a Back to Transaction button, simplifying the process of switching between viewing account details and reviewing the original records. As we conclude our exploration of the Kontenblatt feature, I hope this presentation has showcased its comprehensive capabilities and user-friendly navigation, enhancing your financial tracking and analysis within NetSuite. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you found this demonstration informative and beneficial.
So thank you very much, Selma. This was the presentation of the Kontenblatt. Now hand over the words to Peter von Zimmermann.
Yeah, that's. I look back at one short view on the requirements, and you see that I hope all the requirements I asked for has been addressed by Selma in the call. We see the list, we see the flexibility, we have seen the different views for account types. We have very much seen how easy it is to access from everywhere, and also show this paging approach to work with large amounts of those things, and the export and printouts features. So let's now move to the questions, I think, Georg, and we
yes.
to end up our short presentation.
We will now move to the audience questions. So I have received a few questions, and I will paste them in here, write them into English, and then write the answer here. This presentation will be available for you afterwards. So the first question to Peter and Selma, where do I find the configuration page?
Selma, will you answer this directly, or should I? Yeah.
Yes, hi. So in order to access the configuration page, we have to go to the AV Localization Germany overview page. We go to Setup, and then we click on Custom, and then we click on AV Localization Germany, and then you will find a list containing all the components. Of course, we have Kontenblatt feature. So since it's installed in our account, we can click on the Configure page filter. And when we click on the Configure page, we will be directed to our global configuration sector. And here we will find a button or a drop down called Related Records. When you click on it, we will have a link called Account Sheet View. And when you click on this link, we'll be directed to our configuration page with all the list and all the columns there. No, I hope I answered the question.
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, this configuration page is a just NetSuite record. So of course you can also just access it as a normal record of a global search or something. But this is the navigation we have for should be used by the users. Yeah.
And let me widen the question, Peter. How can our customers imagine to test Kontenblatt in their own account?
I think it's part of the new release, and of course we will all our existing customers for the German bundle will get this new release if they like to have, and we can easily install it first maybe in your sandbox, and then they can play around with the data. That's what we yeah, that's the answer.
Thank you. Let's get to the second question. Ist das Kontenblatt Feature als Update schon geladen? Is the feature already available in the update?
There's a new version, the new release of the German localization, which is 2.0, and we are at the moment talking with the first customers to move to this new release, and with the new release you get it. There are some customers having it for pilot, but overall, just ask us for getting the new release, or if you don't have it yet, ask us for getting the solution at all, and then we install it in your system. Of course, also in the sandbox, you can do this for test purposes if you are not a customer yet.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's get to the next question. Is the booking period used in the settings in some way?
No, I don't really fully understand the question. No, I think it's a really by date chronological order, and I don't think we have the booking period used in the settings at all. Or somehow we don't have this field anywhere. Not yet. I have to understand. Maybe we have to follow up on this to understand what the background of this question is, where the need is for this booking period. Yeah, I think maybe it's for selecting, for the filtering. I think we had the discussion if we allow a filter by period, but yes, that's not yet.
Yeah. So if you want to follow up on the question in the audience, then please do not hesitate to contact us directly. So next question. Can we actually see a prepayment account in Kontenblatt? And I think that refers to an actual demo right now. I suspect we cannot. Peter?
Not in this moment. It's a bit short as we have really the 30 minutes are over, but I think of course you can use this for any account. That's working for any account, but it always shows all postings related to this account.
Yeah.
That's what the Kontenblatt is doing. But maybe there is more again some ideas behind this question to wish to see more than just what is posted to this account, but this is, yes, of course, it's possible. It's a lot. This is possible for any account in the system.
Yeah. Okay. The next question is not a question; it's more a feedback, and I would like to play that back to the team.
Okay.
Thank you very much for an interesting presentation.
Okay.
Are there any more questions from the audience? Okay. Okay. I have one question which is very individual. We will get in touch with you and look at the setup and the configuration for your sandbox account. Yeah. It's about the setup and the next step in there. We will get back in contact with you. Yeah.
Okay.
So, are there any more questions from the audience? Else, I would want to thank everybody very much for your patience, for your attendance, and interest in our product. If you are interested to use the product, please contact our sales. And we will get back to you in shape.
Yeah. And don't miss the next webinar on the whole German Localization Germany Bundle. I think it's in the 11th of April, where we really get an overview about all the other components as well. Yeah.
See you then.
Thank you.
Could you please send the presentation via email? Yes, we can do that. We'll send it to you. Thank you very much. And
Okay.
goodbye, and wish you a good weekend going forward.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.